Welcome all. In this video I will explain the while loop, and we are using a while loop when we want to execute particular statements multiple times. So let's see how that looks like. So we start by typing while, then rounded brackets, and next curly brackets. And between these rounded brackets we place a condition, and the condition either results in true or false. And when the condition is true, then it will execute the statements between the curly brackets here. So what happens here is that when we reach the while loop, it first checks the condition here. And when the condition is true, then it will execute the statements here. And when the condition is false, then it will jump under the while loop and will continue from there on. So when the condition is true, again, the statements here are being executed. And when these statements are being executed, then it will jump back to the top of the while loop, meaning the condition is being checked again. And if the condition is still true, then again the statements here will be executed. And this pattern repeats until the condition becomes false. So again, if the condition becomes false, then the program continues under the while loop. So at this point here. So let's have an example. So let's make an integer I, and we ask the user to prompt a number on the console, and this number is being stored into I. Then we check if I is greater than 5 as a condition, and when I is greater than 5, we will print I is greater than 5 on the console. And finally, we ask the user to enter another number on the console, and this number is again stored into I. So therefore the value in I is being overwritten. And at the end of the program, I will print and program on the console. So let's run this program. So what we have to do first here is to enter a number, because what happens here on line 11, we create a variable I, and on line 12 we have to enter a number. So for example, the number 7. And now you see it prints I is greater than 5, because what happens here is that when we reach the while loop, it first checks the condition here. 7 is greater than 5, so the condition is true, and therefore we will enter the while loop, meaning executing the statements between these curly brackets here. And first on line 15 it prints the text I is greater than 5, which we see here on the console. And on line 17 we have to enter another number, and that's where we are now. So we have to enter another number now, so for example 9. And then you see it prints I is greater than 5 again. So what happens here is that when we executed the statement on line 17, it jumps back to the top of the while loop, meaning this condition here is checked again. And since 9 is greater than 5, it will enter the while loop here again. So therefore on line 15 the text I is greater than 5 is being printed again, which we see here. And on line 17 we have to enter another number. So this pattern repeats as long as we enter numbers that are greater than 5. So let's try to enter a number which is less than 5. So for example 3. And now you see it prints and program. So what happens here on line 14 is that we check the condition. 3 is not greater than 5, so the condition becomes false, and therefore it continues, the program continues under the while loop, and then it executes the statement on line 20, which prints and program on the console, which we see here, and then the program stops. So that's it for this video. So we have seen how to use the while loop.